It's the governor. What's going on, y'all? I'm here today to bring you your food for thought. Lesson 2. This is big wheels versus little wheels. It's a special day. 3/21/21. 333. Yo, let's get it. And so we're building upon this theme that there is no impossible obstacles. There are only stronger and weaker wills. And that's a quote from Jules Verne. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what is will, and what is big will versus little will, and how does that work as far as imposing it upon the game. In the next video, we'll talk about imposing the will upon thyself, which is the ultimate level of the principle. So in this, it just kind of gets down to what's inside you and how strong is the desire, depending upon what it is that you're doing. And when you have that big will, you have that factor of I don't quit. Like sometimes you may be the eager beaver. We'll call you the eager beaver overachiever. Or you may be the little engine that could. Either way, you have this factor of I'm not gonna quit. And because there's been some adversity that's already molded you, when you found the game, whatever it is, whether it's the game of basketball, the game of tennis, the game of philosophy, the game of writing, karate, whatever it is, the game of EA Sports or online gaming, whatever community that you find yourself in, and you find yourself on a path that you feel like you're somebody special, then things are going to happen. You're going to have this desire, and what is that desire to do? Is to win. And that desire to win is strong within you, and you begin, because you have a niche, you have a calling to the game, and there's something about you that is special where you're good at it, you found your thing, and then you on this race to become or make a name for yourself in the game. And in that, you compete. And we'll talk about in the next lesson your competition versus yourself, but there's this outward competition, whether it's the computer or a person that you're always competing with to define how good you are in the game. And you impose this belief that you are that good. Somebody told you, or there was something that said to you, this is you. Somebody believed in you and said you could do it. And once you took hold of that, that grew. And there developed a faith within yourself and a belief within yourself that you can win. And that grows. It can be known as your ego. It is what will help make you have a name. It is the basis of what your name is in the game. It's your ego that you have developed by playing. I mean, you could call it your username. You could call it your nickname. I mean, whether it's Black Mamba, whether it's Shaq, whether it's Air Jordan, MJ. Even if you said Kobe, when you talk about Kobe, you don't just say Kobe. You kind of say Kobe. Like it's... But that's because there's been a recognition of greatness, a recognition of overcoming obstacles within the game and outside the game, and developing not only a methodology that was key to practice the game, but also a mindset, which is what we'll be talking about in the next video. But I mean, you could call it the, the eye to kill, or what, that killer instinct, that will to want to take the shot, the one that practices, the one that knows that they can do it, that doesn't fold under pressure. That begins early in the game, and it's developed and it's harnessed. And again, that is what develops the big will. The little will has this thing with it. It's a Q word. And the big will never says the Q word. The Q word is quit. The big will doesn't even know what quitting is. There is no quit. There's only a way that we just have to figure it out. As my mama would say, where there's a will, there's a way. Like, you gotta figure it out. And that's what coaching is all about, because there's guide stones that as you develop yourself in the game that you're going to be given that will help you. But in the time of obstacle, and that's where you figure it out. And once you figure it out, you got it. And you hear about those that come right before they don't make it, or they talk about it in hindsight, where I just couldn't figure it out. And again, that's where that self-correction. But if they can figure it out, the road is paved. And that's the defining moment of the greatness, is if you can figure it out, if you can stay the course and find the proper correction. But the big will has that ability to take it all on their shoulders and calm the quiet and deliver, not just for themselves, but for everybody, for the moment. And that's something, again, that's within the player, and it develops, where little wills don't necessarily have that, because at a certain point in time, the doubt kicks in with the quitting. A big will doesn't have doubt. The GOAT doesn't have doubt. I could beat you. I could come back. I could beat you. I could do it. Let's do it again. Let's run it back. Like there is no doubt. There is no quit. And that's why eventually they win, because winners never quit and quitters never win. And little wills, at a certain point in time, they quit, in the sense of the opportunity to lift the team, the opportunity to help turn it on, to seize the moment, they miss it. There's something, and they don't make it. The big will captures those moments. They don't fold. They don't miss at that time. And they never give up. It's like, it's never over. And that's something that the little will doesn't have. And quitting creeps up on you. Giving up creeps up on you. I just can't do it. And when you say the words, I just can't do it, you're saying it in the sense of you're alone. You're giving up on everybody. Because if you're a part of the team, it's not, I can't do it, because you're not in it by yourself. When you have there's something with the big will, that there's a faith, there's a belief in something that is just a little bit more, where I just can't quit. Like, if I quit, there's nothing that's going to be there for me. So I have to press through. So that is something that if you're trying to transcend from the little will to the big will, that you just have to adapt. You have to understand that there is a way. You just got to figure it out, and that there's a sacrifice somewhere there. When you learn what the sacrifice is, then and the sacrifice may be understanding that you can't do it by yourself. You gotta take on something else. I gotta find this missing piece, and I can't have the ego to not ask the missing piece for the help if I want it all. So again, the big wheel figures it out, and when it comes down to crunch time, they're able to, their faith is able to, faith in what? The game. The faith in that their ability to overcome this obstacle in the game, their faith that they can win, it brings them a calm when the obstacle is there. And so they deliver. That's what it means to impose your will upon the game. When the question is, when the time is it for you to show up, do you show up? And once you show up once, if you show up twice, then you'll be called upon. And just finding your role and building upon your role and developing. And then, boom. But it starts here. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next joint. Let's get it.